Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturning. Let's talk about inside-out turning. The inside-out turning is simply a process. Actually, yes, it's not simple, but it is a process whereby you set some staves up in your lathe and turn a profile, which turns out to be the inside profile. And then you rotate those staves and turn an outside profile so that you have something, a curve on the inside and a curve on the outside, and then the fun thing is to put something inside that is appropriate. I made this one some time ago for a symposium, but I'm preparing for a remote demonstration, so I decided I need to do a few more, make sure I'm current on it. So a couple of other fun ones. This one has a perfect sphere inside of the inside out, and by the way, I prefer 3 stave inside out to 4 stave because I have bigger windows into the inside for whatever is inside the sphere. A little bit harder, but that's okay. And another inside out where I kept the stiles, I guess, to the window as small as possible, and put a sphere inside of this one, and no, it's not going to come out. It's a good conversation piece. Or this fun one where I actually put an LED inside of it to light the way. So let's do an inside-out turning today. It actually will be this one. In contrast to a 4-stave inside-out project, a triple stave project requires 3 staves with angles of 60, 120, 60, and 120 degrees. I like that the window into the middle is much bigger with a 3-stave than a 4-stave project. To get the angles right, I made a sled for my table saw. Fortunately, I do not plan to make any projects longer than the capacity of this sled. I used a digital angle finder to set the blade angle for my table saw. It does require some test cuts to ensure the angle fits. The first cut, which is waste, is with the crosscut edge pressed against the top fence. Subsequent cuts are clamped to the left side of the saw blade. If you have better ideas for this sled, please share. The box on the sled is intended to protect me from the saw blade at the end of the cut. I have tried many ways to temporarily fasten the staves together, from screws to glue. I'm settling now on band clamps. They do have a danger factor, but you cannot beat the pressure holding the staves together. I also rough sanded off the 60-degree corners just a little to prevent them from shifting the hold. To manage the danger, I make sure to wrap duct tape around the band clamp to hold down the trailing end and contain any sharp edges and to pad the uneven top surface. 2 layers of duct tape, please. Now when cutting the inner profile, I need to stay absolutely inside the band clamps. But that is okay anyway, since I do not want to round off the whole edge anyway. This will be a very simple profile since tapered ends may trap the ball that I plan to put inside. Hand sanding the inside also requires good attention to where my hands are relative to those band clamps. After sanding, I applied alcohol stain. I rubbed down the stain to have friction help dry the stain, then shellac friction polish. Before gluing, I turned a sphere. I had camera difficulties, probably due to operator error, me, so I will have to refer you to my video on turning a perfect sphere. I measured the gap between the staves and aimed for a sphere larger than that. This one is about 2-inch diameter of maple. Then apply glue sparingly to the new inside edges. I make sure that no extra glue is on or near the finished edge. I make sure I do not forget the sphere. Then the band clamp clamps it all together again. As I contemplate the sphere inside the staves, I see that it could perhaps project a little between the side staves. That would be bad news if a tool hits it. So I grab some cardboard, actually a drywall shim, to wrap around the sphere to protect it. Then very gently cut the outside profile. Again, a very simple profile. I cut the inside so deep that there is not much left on the staves, and I am worried. This is a shear cutting time with my bowl gouge. The wood will not tolerate much pressure. In fact, there is a bit of an edge that splits off. I traded glue it back on with CA glue. I also took this opportunity to add some CA to a couple of joints that were more open than I would like. After letting it harden, I go for it again. I trim back the ends to a 3/4 inch. I will turn buttons to cover both ends. Then back to sanding, mostly by hand on the staves. They are not thick enough for any kind of machine sanding. Then apply more dye. And then shellac friction polish. It is interesting that the alcohol in the shellac softens the dye and allows me to blend it a bit more. For the end buttons, I find some Padook circles left over from my pumpkin project of some time ago. Double stick tape with live center pressure holds the wood to a faceplate. After a little trimming, I drill a 3/4 inch hole. Then sand and apply finish to the exposed side. This may be my last chance to easily finish this area. The shellac finish allows me to blend later to previously finished surfaces. Now with a small chuck, I can use an expansion hold while I part off excess wood. Then round off the button. I think a small burn line will add to the project. After sanding, a little more shellac friction polish finishes off the buttons. Finally, unwrap the inside sphere and glue on the buttons. This is an interesting project, not as complex as it would seem. It is a good discussion item. How did you turn that anyway? How did you get that ball in there? Despite the initial complexity to the stock preparation, the wider windows are worth the initial work. There are a lot more options with inside than can be explored. I would like to hear your ideas. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, and tell your friends. I appreciate your comments and questions. Every week, I make a new woodturning video and add it to my website. As usual, I appeal for you to wear your full face shield for safety. That is, anytime the lathe is running. I will see you next week with another woodturning video. Be wise in these COVID times. Do not think about your problems. Instead, count your blessings and stay healthy.